Alrighty, good evening. This is group three. Our group project was on the hallucinogen LSD. My name is Elyssa Sharp.
My name is Wendy Tuinei.
My name is Arshdeep Dutta.
My name is Endia, and I'll be also going over the history of LSD and also the nicknames on the next slide. So to start, LSD, a psychedelic substance also known as an entheogen, was created on November 16th, 1938 by Albert Hofmann at the Sandoz Laboratories in Basel, Switzerland. It wasn't until 5 years later, on April 19th, 1943, that its psychedelic effects were discovered. Today, this significant discovery is commemorated globally on Bicycle Day, which also marks the celebration of the broader psychedelic revolution. The popularity of LSD for recreational purposes surged in the 1960s, largely due to its mind expanding effects being championed by prominent figures like Harvard researcher Timothy Leary and author Ken Kesey. However, worries regarding the potential long-term impacts of LSD prompted the introduction of new regulations to limit its use. LSD, commonly known as acid, was banned in California on October 6, 1966. According to Health and Safety Code 11377, possessing LSD is illegal, and Health and Safety Code 11378 makes it unlawful to possess LSD for sale. Social gatherings often lead to the misuse of LSD, as many parties revolve around drug use. In these environments, even those without prior experience with drugs may be encouraged to try LSD. Individuals facing peer pressure or social anxiety might turn to LSD to gain acceptance within a group. Initially, using LSD can create feelings of belonging or insight, but prolonged use can lead to addiction. Users might feel as though they can hear colors or see sounds. Although this can be enjoyable, there's a chance of encountering a negative experience. A bad trip can lead to feelings of fear and anxiety. Next slide. Common street names would be Acid, Mellow Yellow, Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, Black Star, Sugar Cubes, Elvis, Purple Haze, Superman, Yin Yang, and also the average cost in the US is $5 to $25 per dose.
And we have a video, we're gonna skip it for now.
LSD, also LSD.
And I will be going over how LSD works in the brain. So LSD is known to have an affinity for the 5-HT2A serotonergic receptor. LSD mechanism of action primarily causes an effect in the serotonergic system, binding on the serotonin 5-hydroxytryptamine 2A and the 5-hydroxytryptamine 1A. Both receptors are agonists. LSD, when it's consumed in higher doses, can stimulate dopamine and glutamatergic neurotransmission. LSD drug effects can last about 6 to 10 hours in the body. People and consumers have often referred to their hallucinations as mystical experiences. So LSD hallucinations can have these mystical experiences, and subjects often refers to them as being beyond ordinary in a three-dimensional space. In addition, LSD can cause alterations in the state of consciousness, causes euphoria, alters psychological functions, and gives the subject feels of being in a realm of eternity or infinity, along with a positive mood, joy, and a sense of peace. Research indicates that LSD can induce psychosis. So if it is abused in higher doses, might induce to real psychosis and schizophrenia. These episodes have been reported and described as paranoia, delusions, confusion, somatic discomfort, and impaired reasoning.
And I'm going to go over the addiction and the risks. To start off, LSD today is characterized as a Schedule 1 drug under the Controlled Substances Act due to the fact that it has no accepted medical use in the US. And our question today is LSD addictive? LSD is not considered addictive because it does not cause physical dependence to the drug or cause any withdrawal symptoms such as alcohol or opioids do. However, it is known that people who regularly take LSD can grow a tolerance to the drug. This can lead to the psychoactive effects of the drug to slowly diminish with repeated use and people needing to take higher doses to achieve the same high. Risks of LSD. LSD can lead to a hallucinogen use disorder, which is seen as a problematic abuse of the drug, which causes significant distress and impairment. This can lead to people being so high that they put themselves in danger and increase their risk for injury. For example, some people may experience and act on suicidal feelings or even jump off high surfaces due to hallucinations and altered perceptions.
Addiction facts. Understanding the addiction risk. They alternate the brain reward system. Certain medications, such as benzodiazepines and opioids, have a serious chance of addiction. Example, dopamine and opioid pathways increase risk. Impact of the drug-drug interactions. Medications combinations such as the opioids and the benzodiazepines may trigger negative effects and addictive results. Tolerance and dependence. Over time, the increased toleration results in greater dosages, which causes dependability. Patient-specific risks. The chance of addiction can be affected by the psychological characteristics, past substance use, and genetics.
And this one's our reference list. And we will just go ahead and play a video that resumes our findings and tell us more about LSD.
LSD, also known as acid, is a psychedelic drug famous for altering your perception and creating hallucinations. But how does it actually work, and what is the effect on your body, and more importantly, your brain? Lysergic acid diethylamide was first synthesized in 1938 from a fungus that grew on rye. In 1943, the inventor Albert Hofmann accidentally touched some to his mouth, got high, and became the first person in the world to learn about the psychedelic properties of LSD. Research on the drug took place in the 50s and 60s, but as recreational use began to spread, psychedelic drugs were made an illegal Schedule 1 drug in the US, and the research programs were halted. While other drugs are dosed in grams, a single dose of LSD is measured in 1/100,000th of a gram, which is 1/10 the mass of a grain of sand. LSD affects multiple brain receptors, such as the dopamine receptors, adrenergic receptors, and glutamate receptors, but most research is on the stimulatory serotonin receptor 5-HT2A. LSD hits the receptor at an unexpected angle, causing it to fold over the LSD, creating a lid. The LSD is then trapped, which makes this receptor continually fire, causing you to hallucinate. Your body responds by sucking the 5-HT2A receptor into the cell in order to degrade the LSD, but this can take up to 12 plus hours to happen, which is why the high can last so long. Recently, LSD research has seen a revival, and using contemporary neuroimaging techniques, researchers found that the drug causes parts of your brain to communicate in unique ways, especially in the visual cortex, potentially explaining the vivid and complex hallucinations. There's also decreased blood flow in the default mode network, correlating to strong changes in consciousness characterized as ego dissolution, described as a feeling where the boundary that separates you from the rest of the world dissolves. Many people report this feeling brings a sense of reconnection with themselves, others, and the natural world. In fact, a study on 20 healthy volunteers receiving 75 micrograms of LSD saw that 2 weeks after being dosed, they scored higher for the traits of optimism and openness, with increased creativity and imagination. This has led researchers to think about LSD as a therapy for patients with death anxiety and life-threatening illnesses. Researchers found that 12 months after treatment, patients reported a reduction in anxiety and a rise in quality of life as the drug helped them restructure their habits and worldview. It is also why the trend of microdosing is emerging, where a person takes 1/10 of a recreational dose of LSD, attempting to skip the hallucinations and instead experience heightened alertness, energy, and creativity. Although LSD is non-addictive and researchers rate it as significantly less dangerous than other drugs like cocaine and heroin, there's still an extreme lack of scientific studies to explain the widespread microdosing trend, and even experienced hallucinogen users will sometimes experience bad trips, producing irrational fears, paranoia, and panic attacks. LSD can also cause flashbacks, where months after the drug is worn off, it can feel as though you're experiencing the effects of the high all over again. In some extreme occasions, people have developed hallucinogen persisting perception disorder, which is like a never-ending trip. Thinking that LSD can lead to psychosis and the risk of suicide are overstated. The 14% of participants in the US National Survey who had done psychedelics in their life had no increased risk of developing psychosis, depression, or suicide attempts. But the new research around LSD's potential positive effects is also very young, so this might not be a trip you want to take. Want to learn more about your brain on drugs? Check out our playlist that covers many other substances and how they affect you. And subscribe for more weekly science videos every Thursday.
All right, so that concludes our presentation. Thank you so much for everything, and thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, everyone.